Hello, and welcome back to the Youth Collab Spotlight, where we share powerful stories of young African innovators reshaping our future. I'm your host, Dr. Kovo, and today we'll dive into Rwanda evolving mining industry with Kelvin Rwihimba, the founder and CEO of MineTech, a deep tech startup using AI, IoT, and to transform mining operations into safer and smarter workplaces. Kelvin, welcome to this podcast.
Thank you very much, Chikovo.
Okay, so to get started, Kelvin, you have like a fascinating background. You started as a geoscience student, then you pivoted into deep tech entrepreneurship. Could you share a bit about your experience, like your personal journey? What inspired you to really combine geology, technology, and entrepreneurship? And how did you realize that this has like a strong potential?
Thank you very much, Chikovo. So it wasn't as of a coincidence. So it was a journey where I started as a geologist at the University of Rwanda. I was in the School of Mining, but majorly specializing into applied geology. And then when we started getting into field works, so that's when I was just introduced to the real world of applying what I just learned into the real world use cases. So, and from that on, just getting to the sites and getting to understand how the operations are done, and as well as comparing to what I just usually heard on TV and reports about accidents, inefficiencies, and people having to die into the mine. And I was like trying to connect those two worlds of this is actually what I studied, this is what I'm going through, and this is what I'm seeing at the site, and this is what I usually hear about what happens in this industry. Trying to connect them and trying to see why do people need to face accidents, what the hazards in the mining sector happens. So from then on, I was just mainly looking around, asking questions and get to understand like what are the existing systems and how do the existing system works. And from that on, I just find that there was a lot of gap of data acquisition site that made us not really 5 steps ahead of any hazards and accidents. So far, what I had in mind was just the idea of quitting, just moving apart from the industry and just start a new career and learn new things. But within the journey of getting much more new skills, the new journey that I was entering was just the journey of being a data scientist. So that when I just graduate, I'll be a normal data scientist, just getting the skills for in the first place. And in the journey of getting those the skills in the first place, that's when the idea of what if there could be a solution that could fit into this space where we do not have siloed system, we just have one intelligent platform that streamlines operation in real time and can be able to help us to know like what's going to happen before it even reaches to us and redistributes like the concerns and inefficiency to us so that we can be able to be acted on upon on time. So that how just working on that and be able to interact with the industry in real time. Um, that's when I've been able to just realize like, oh, so this can't be just a side project. This is something that can turn into um, something much more of a business, because if I'm telling it to someone who's in the mining industry and it resonates well with them, and I get to introduce it to one company and the other company tells me like, when can this be ready so as we start getting to use it? So that potential made me like think like this can be a potential of this project that I'm working on. It has a potential of being product market fit, and how do we make it more of a sustainable project, a sustainable business entity that can be able, as well as to generate revenue, sustain itself, and be able to just spread the impact, not only to the targeted middle scale mining companies that we are reaching out, but as well as reaching to the large scales and the small scale that is under mining companies. Because the cause was one, reduce like the safety concerns, operation inefficiencies, just into the whole industry, but not for this certain segment. And to reach there, we had to change the narrative for changing it as a project rather than to something that it will being something of a business value and sustainability.
Okay, so for those who are not really like experts in the field, how do you simply simplify it? How do you explain what your system does from like the collecting of sensor readings and to helping workers avoid hazards? Can you give us one real-world example or like an example where uh, an underground mine where you gave like insight and it really made a difference to the safety and efficiency?
For a real world case scenario of where like our platform can come in hand. Let's say, for example, in safety concerns. So for us, when I'm when I'm doing supervisions or I'm doing inspection at the mine. So I just record the data manually about what I'm seeing, right? About any safety concerns, right? I'm not the only person, other people are doing so. And after that, I just need to submit the report to my I need to submit the report to my supervisor, like someone who's ahead of me. And that person will collate the aggregate of all reports that was done across all sites. Let's say, for example, I'm just that supervisor, I'm that person in charge of resoluting safety concerns. So I just get 100 reports. Now I'm viewing them manually. I'm identifying case by case. I'm just classifying the case from severity, like the ones that are high severe and the ones that are not really severe. And I'm just assigning it to different persons, right? That journey from the beginning to the top, it's really time consuming. And it also prone to errors as the quality that I started at the beginning to what I'm doing right now, right? There is sometimes error. It's really prone to error when I'm doing that. And in meantime, while I'm doing that process, anything can happen at that place that the issues were identified on, right? So the time for me to be able to assign a team, go there, inspect, do the fast checkups and as well as fix the issue. The issue might be fixed or might not be fixed. They will need to get back to me with the report and I need to instruct them like how we should go about the safety concern. This period can take even about 2 weeks for a safety concern to be resolved. So what we do is just shorten that time, but as well as increasing the quality and the analysis that is done in real time for the concerns that we are facing about safety, right? That's in the safety aspect, as well as when we go into operations, streamlining operations in real time and helping company connect different departments. Whereas right now we just minimize the conflict between, for example, geologists and mining engineers, where some tells them we should have done this, we did this and this. So we just minimize errors that are happening on site in real time.
Okay, so for people to really understand your business idea, you started with a prototype, right? Can you
Sure.
tell us how you started building like this prototype and what kind of assistance did you like leverage on? And lastly, like what is the advice you would give to young entrepreneurs who are working and starting to work on their prototypes right now?
So yeah, funny enough, I can't say even it's not even funny, but um, what I started with wasn't the real product that we currently have. I started with a prototype of an IoT sensors that was just recording like underground movements and be able to predict accidents that are going to come. Let's say, for example, we just monitor the movements of the underground and then from the stresses that the tunnel is experiencing against the lithology and pressure that it can withstand, we can be able to say like the factor of safety is getting lower, so there is need of intervention, right? So that was the thing that we started with, and being able to think like we have a device, it's giving data, we need to build a model, and with that model, we can be able to assess risk in real time, right? So that was the model, that was the prototype we took to the market within a cooperative of mining companies, and then we got to test it there. And then after testing it, one question was in my mind, like, if I'm going to say, like, I'm providing you with this device and it's going to offer safety for your workers, now the whole safety issue comes back to me. I'm the one to be responsible in any case of any damage and any accidents, right? And I need to be sure that system could cover 100% of death of any incident or damage that would come along, right? So I had to do what? I had to just proofread and understand, well, what are the bottlenecks in my system right now? What's the possible percentage of this system to be able to guarantee the safety of these people that are providing the solution for? And then I just realized that there was a lot of factors and data that I wasn't taken into consideration for people to be assured of safety, right? And from that on, I could say, like, if a mining engineer just decides to drive a tunnel, like near like a water table, for example, or a disposal at any time, so that could cause like a disaster at that time, and then the time that we get notification, everything would go wrong at that time. Like, what if there was a lot of assumption that weren't considered when that system, which meant that there should be a foundation that that system should rely on, which serves as data acquisition on site. So first of all, an advice I could give to entrepreneurs about who are planning to have their prototypes and getting ready to go to the market and make some revenues, is just, first of all, is to have something into their clients' hands. That's the only advice that I could be able to tell them. Just get yourself an MVP or a prototype, get to test it on the field, get to record customers' feedback and reiterate accordingly. And in each stage that you are on, make sure that the customer is in the center of what you're developing. Each feature, each automation, and each iteration that you are making aligns with the customer's designs. Thank you very much.
Okay. So still at this point of like you have moved from the prototype, you are now like in the market. What have been like the biggest challenge that you faced like now moving into like the market past the prototype stage?
The biggest challenge is when you are about to onboard clients. They could like the solution, but they do not want to move on board as the first people, right? They just tend to say like, yes, it's good, but let's wait a little bit and see how things move. Let us have the first one to test this and work with this and get real testimony. So like reputation, having like proof of concepts, that's something that was a barrier and a challenge for someone. Or you just approach to a company, they just get to know that you're working with just 4 companies right now, and they say like, it's currently too risky for that technology to come on board, as we are not 100% sure what it will bring with us. So this gets you into pilots that are sometimes free of cost, and it gives you like a long chain of follow-ups that are really challenging for a company that is starting.
Yeah, there's still this fear with like a lot of mining companies to be like the first movers. And I think with your work that you're doing, I think it will really help to help them adopt this faster. So let's talk about the initiatives that you have been part of. You have been part of the ALX program and the Timbuktu MineTech Accelerator. Congratulations for making it to that one. So can you tell us about how these programs have specifically impacted your growth as an entrepreneur and in your business development?
Sure. I could say like I was an engineer back then, and I had like limits into the business sector. How do you go to fundraising? How do you structure your financials? How do you make the right pricing that resonates with your cost and resonates with the competition that you are currently having on the market? How do you provide or articulate value that you are giving to customers? That's the package that I've been able to unpack from the ALX, as well as getting opportunities that put you on the spotlight to be able to get some partnership increase of as well as funding opportunities that comes in an indirect way for you to as you are on that spotlight. And throughout that process being part of the LX Ventures, I've been able to get that knowledge of the business side, getting the spotlight, and as well as getting to understand like how does something transform a project to a business concept, and how do you develop that business concept, and how do you make it sustainable so that anyone who wants to be part of it sees a future in it, not something that will end in just 1, 2 to 3 years. I've been able as well as to be part of the Timbuktu, whereas it opened my eyes on different mining value chain, different types of operations, and engagement with stakeholders that I was building solutions for. Right now, I had the missing piece of I need to get in contact with the ones I'm building the solution for. Even though I had the vision, even though I had like the information on the local market, what does it look in the eyes of the mining stakeholders in Zambia? How does it looks like for big corporate companies in the mining industry, such as FQM, right? Why? How do they think of that solution, and making and realizing that it's something that brings attention to what they are looking forward to implement. It was something that brought us a motivation to look for, like right now, it's no longer like middle scale mining companies, but as well as large scale mining companies are really looking forward to these solutions. And how do we structure our go-to-market strategies so that we can be able, as well as to be able to provide the solutions to different kinds of operations and stakeholders, right? And as well as getting to meet the environmentalists, people from the ESG sector, helping us understand well the relevance of ESG and it being part of your solution. That has been a unique value proposition that I got from that Timbuktu. That right now, I think incorporating it makes me 2 to 3 to 5 steps ahead into getting customers' trust. Yeah.
Okay, the coming African Mining Indaba at the conference in 2026, the main theme is on like collaboration, building partnerships. Let's talk a little bit about the collaborations, because collaborations often accelerate innovation and yeah. So could you highlight a few partnerships, will be it private companies, government agencies, or educational institutions that boosted MineTech progress and adoption? And what kind of partnerships do you think you would need as a company, and what partnerships would move you forward?
So sure, I could touch on some partnerships, some with institutions in research that we've been able to collaborate with, accelerating the product development of MineTech. That was one of the key partnership that we got. It moved us of our partnership in getting data that is locally, so that our model can be able to understand which geographies that we are working in and the local context, so that it doesn't create much hallucinations from that. And as well as partnerships that I would like so far for the upcoming Mining Indaba. It's either if you are a company willing to invest in this technology and be able to adopt for this technology, something that we are looking into. We're looking as well as for the government institutions that do inspections to the mining companies, looking ways to be able to partner with them so that they can be able to get inspection insights without getting on the mining premises and happening in real time. I'm talking as well as to financial institutions who have not yet found a way to de-risk the way of giving loans to these middle scale and small scale mining companies because of a lot of uncertainties. With our data acquisition, we can be able to unveil you all the information that you would need to have and a de-risk algorithm that could help you be able to give financial for those mining companies, small scale and middle scale, some middle scales, to be able to be financial fit and be for you as well as to have a de-risked way to evaluate loan assessments to these companies. So those are things that I would like to unlock in the mining level.
Okay, as we're about to close, let's talk about your future vision and expansion. So you have built MineTech to tackle safety, the efficiency, and sustainability in mining. Looking ahead, what is your long-term vision for how this technology would scale across Africa and even beyond? Right now, we are operating in Rwanda, but how do you want to scale even beyond and create this lasting impact that we want to see in the industry?
So my vision is to provide actually the technology that reduces up to 90% of the accidents that are currently in the industry, and as well as help mining companies in risk and financial risk evaluation and projections that makes them to run their operations smoothly. That's one of the visions that we are having at MineTech. So with data acquisition at heart, we can be able to unlock this opportunities and thinking of what's coming next, being able to make a proof of concept here in Rwanda. We have also a vision to scale up to 9 big mining countries on this continent, and being able to scale our impact to those first 9 big mining countries in this continent.
Okay, thank you very much, Kelvin, for joining us today and sharing your inspiring journey with MineTech. It's clear that your innovation is paving way for safer, smarter, and more sustainable mining in Rwanda and beyond. To our listeners, thank you for joining Youth Collab Spotlight. Don't forget to subscribe to this episode and join next time to hear more of these incredible stories of young African change makers. Until then, keep innovating and impacting your community. Thank you.
Thank you very much.